Somewhat unsurprisingly, the man capturing all the headlines here at the Honda Classic isn't actually playing in the Honda Classic. It is Phil Mickelson. It's been an ongoing story from last week as well. And the release of excerpts from an unauthorised biography from Alan Shipnuck, that Phil said that he used what he's done with the Saudi Golf League as leverage against the PGA Tour. So all the comments about the Saudi Golf League as well. But since then, there's been a lot of speculation. A lot of the big name players have stepped up and given their opinions and pledged fealty to the PGA Tour. Rich Beem's alongside me to look at what's actually just developed, and that is a release of a statement from Phil Mickelson. It's on social media. You can see it pretty much everywhere you look. It is really lengthy. In essence, though, what can we take from what Phil has released, Rich?
Well, it's interesting because not once did he ever really apologize to the PGA Tour and come out and support them. There was a lot of apologies and talking about the Saudi League and the PIL, and it's just that part of it was very interesting because he never, even though he kind of retracted what he said a little bit to Alan Shipnuck, it still wasn't a true apology. It was very interesting to see, for me, how it read. And I know that a lot of people read it a little bit differently, but I just look at it and it didn't scream like really sincere, I'm sorry for about all this, I don't really mean it, I just want things better for the PGA Tour. It was more about an apology to the Saudis about, hey, listen, sorry I'm having to back off on all this, but they've forced my hand here in the US almost. I don't know, it's very strange. I don't know what, Phil's just not being himself. I don't know what it is. I've known him for many years, I've never been a close friend of his by any stretch of the imagination. But this seems really bizarre to me, even by Phil's standards.
Well, of course, the world, the public have given their opinions. You can find them all on social media, and there's not a lot of sympathy for the statement, and there's not a lot of belief in the sorrow of the statement as well. He does say sorry in it, but as you say, certainly doesn't say sorry to the PGA Tour.
Sure.
So with that regard, what do you think the PGA Tour, and more importantly, its players feel about what's just gone on with Phil?
Well, unfortunately, the players are just kind of reading his words. They haven't actually heard anything. They haven't heard anything come from his voice. So when you actually speak to somebody, you can hear the sincerity. You can kind of hear where they're coming from. But the written word is completely different. You can break it down as many different ways as you want. You can dissect it so many different ways. I think until we actually hear from him, or he actually sits down in front of somebody in a camera and he actually speaks to somebody on record, then we'll kind of know where he sits. But as of right now, I don't think he's got a whole lot of alliances there in the locker room. I don't think there's a lot of people, a lot of players that have a whole lot of sympathy for him right now.
In essence, would you say that Phil Mickelson has missed an opportunity here? Were the players needing him to not give the but to this whole statement, just to say, I got this wrong, sorry?
Exactly. I think that if he would have said something more along that, listen, I am with the players. I want to make the PGA Tour a better place for all of us going forward. I didn't mean for it to come to this, whatever it took, but he really never quite said that. The one thing that I did take about it more than anything else is he's going to take time away from the game. He's going to take time for not only for himself, it sounds like his family, everything else. And I think that's exactly what he needs because, as I said earlier, this is so, I know Phil's always been a little bit different, and I think that's why we like him because, of how he plays the game and how he interacts with folks on social media. This is completely different.
Just very quickly, I know it's hard, it's to speculate on this. Do you feel like the suspension, which a lot of people are talking about what's going to be offered out to Phil Mickelson, is a suspension from the PGA Tour, do you feel like that's inevitable?
Yes, I do. Absolutely. I think the PGA Tour in some form or fashion will suspend him, but I also think that he probably would go willingly. I don't think he's going to push that envelope. I don't think that he's going to try and deny it. I don't think he's going to say anything other than, okay, I accept it.
Well, certainly this story is far from over, and when we get more, we'll certainly be bringing it to you on Sky Sports.